Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Floyd. Hello. So unlike Sarah and Sam, I'm not a musician. I've had no musical training. I've got just a few odd interests, and they kind of mesh together. So one of them is I'm really into the gramophones, and not just the music, the sort of technology that goes into the machine itself, the motor, the way it amplifies. The other thing I'm interested in is getting or trying to sort of prize sounds out of everyday objects, so like household objects. And yeah, just sort of playing around with things and seeing what kind of noises I can get out of them. And then the other kind of interest that sort of ties into this is I'm really interested in acoustically reproducing kind of electronic sounds or electronic kind of music or something that sounds electronic. So this is an array of stuff. Normally I work with two gramophones. One of my gramophones is out of action, so what I've got here is a motor, a gramophone motor, and I've just screwed a record onto the top of it. So it is a gramophone, but not as you know it. So all acoustic, fully acoustic. I'm sort of militant with myself about not using amps, mics, cables, leads, anything like that. So consequently, some of it is really, really quiet. The first thing I'm going to attempt to make a noise with is so quiet you might not hear it, but what I tend to do is build up layers. So I'll get that going. You might hear it, you might not. But then I kind of like to build up one sound on top of the other and kind of make what I would class as a sort of low volume acoustic kind of noise music. So none of the sounds are particularly pleasant or nice. It's noise. Noise is generally, I don't know, very loud and you just get pummeled. This is like quiet noise, but it's still not very friendly. If you can't hear it very well and you want to come closer, you're welcome to, but you may want to just keep your distance. So this first instrument involves washing up liquid, a bottle and a bowl. Might get a few bits of water on the stage. Don't know if you can hear that. I can hear it, but I think it really is too quiet. Okay. There's a little example. I don't know how much you could hear of that or not.
That was great.
Thanks.
Thank you, Tim.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Tim Floyd, everyone. That was great. Thank you. The next takeover we have is this gentleman just making his way to the front. This is Richard, who co-made this with me. I know Richard through the now defunct social media platform known as Twitter, where I would post various instruments I was building. Richard would go, "That's not how you do that, Sam," and would suggest better ways of doing it, which eventually flourished into quite a long-standing now collaborative relationship where, as I mentioned before, really I'll design something, Richard will make it better, I'll then use it quite a lot, and between us we'll come up with a more refined, finished piece. But some of the things that I knew Richard for were things like this. He's got kind of a series of these. I'll let him explain to you. What we're going to do is we're going to have a brief takeover where Richard talks to you about this. Then we're going to need a little bit of time to reset everything before the final performances. So I think we're going to then put Richard's machine on again in the break. So he's going to use it to demo now, and then we'll put it on during the break for everybody to come and have a little play. I need to plug that in?
Plug that in, and we'll see what it does. And then we'll unplug it, and I'll tell you things about it. Just going to move there. So it has to kind of get used to its environment, which will take a moment. This time, slightly reggae. So, do you want to turn it off and I'll say some things? So this was built for EMF Camp in 2014. EMF Camp is a hacker camp in the grand tradition of the European hacker camps. They are like Nerd Glastonbury. People who do things with computers, digital stuff, lots of computer art stuff, computer politics stuff, computers for the sake of computers, weird old computers, everything. They're marvelous, the best things in the world. So this was built to be abandoned in a field filled with nerds as a musical plaything. It goes around all the time. It has one sensor, this thing. So this is just a rangefinder. It's how far away is the thing that's sort of on that line, out to quite a long way, about 5 or 6 meters. And as it rotates, it measures the range to things and it plays notes depending on that range. That's really all that's going on in there. There's some trickery to pick notes. So when it starts, it's randomly, it's picked a scale, it's picked some notes from that scale, and then it will convert range into those notes. It also makes up a little drum line based on what it's seen and a kind of a backing track, but they're all generated from that range data. When we turned it on right now, it was seeing all this stuff, pews and chair legs and things, and it will slowly learn that that stuff is fixed and stop being interested in it. It's really built to run in a field where there aren't many things. But, so if we run it for a minute, it will settle down. Then you won't hear anything except when something new appears, so when somebody is near it. So what that means is some people around it can play a tune by arranging themselves, and they can change the tune just by moving back, moving towards, moving around. Some groups of people work that out, some of them never do. Part of the joy of making this kind of thing is trying to make something where it has a game it's offering, and it's the kind of thing which people can work out without you ever telling them anything. If you tell them the rules, it's never as much fun. And this is at least half successful. Not everybody works it out, but they usually seem to have fun trying to work it out, so, you know, still a win. Shall we turn it on again and make it go?
Let's turn it on again, make it go. If people, we'll then have a break at that point, and if people want to just come up and wander around it, go ahead.
Yeah. So let's give it a minute to settle down until.
Turn it down.
Let's turn it down a bit.
Sorry.
No, you're right. Oh, I should also say before Sam turns it on, it's built from the simplest and worst kind of stuff, which I found is often just fine for this kind of thing. It's, you know, amplifiers from eBay and speakers in the charity shop. The whole thing's maybe 100 quid's worth of bits. It turns out that making things cheaply and badly often works exactly as well in the long run as making them well and expensively. So now I just cut all possible corners to get to the informative thing sooner, and it usually works great. Take it away, Sam. Thank you. See what we get. Yeah. Every time you get a different set of MIDI patches, basically randomly selected. So sometimes it's horrible. This is reasonably pleasant. Let's stick with it. So if we just wait, it's slowly learning the corners of the pews and the legs of the tables, and this will all fade away.
Whilst this is playing, we're going to try and reset the stage for the live performances, okay?
Very brave.
Thanks.
All right, so if you'd like to come and have a play, they'll be making notes as well, but come and stand here and see what happens. And the range is long, it's, you know, out here. Yeah, so there's you two playing a note. As this comes round, those two notes were you two. So.
Would the lights have any significance as to its sort of state of emotional state, perhaps, or
A little bit. There's something about what's going on. When it's left alone, you just get a little blue dot circling around.
because it's pretty bored and, you know.
Yeah. And you need something to show that it's still alive. So, you know, it's sitting there in the night, just spinning away. So yeah, left to its own for long enough, it's completely silent.